This episode is brought to you by Cardimax. Life on the front line requires you step up your game. Owned and operated by former Navy SEAL Sean Matson, Cardimax has designed just the right supplements for you and is offering American Party an exclusive offer. Buy one, get one free in your first order. Go to Cardimax.com and use the promo code American. That's Cardimax.com, helping you achieve your max.
Yeah, you're live.
Good morning.
It's noon. I guess it's still morning on the West Coast.
Yeah, and that's...
No one cares about the West Coast, though, although we are going to talk about California a little bit today, later on.
So I like to start off the show with good morning.
Okay, congratulations. What, are you autistic? What the fuck are you talking like that for?
What? I got to tell you, I feel uncomfortable right now. You've got a gun, and...
Well, you've got a Theragun.
Yeah.
And some Raycons.
Yeah. Those Raycons are badass.
Yeah, they're the best. The best.
You're the best. Jake says their audio sounds weird. What do you got to say to him, Dan?
I don't know. He's the only person saying it, so maybe it's him.
Oh, is that kind of like it's not you, it's me? What have you been doing, Dan?
Moved.
You moved?
Yeah, from one apartment to the next.
Wow.
I moved further downtown. There's been a problem in my, ever since I moved in, actually, that old place with the kitchen island. There was some kind of leak or some shit. And then it must have gotten worse after the freeze because the downstairs neighbors started saying, like, hey, it's leaking through the roof and shit now. So finally they came to fix it, cut a hole in the wall, and it was, like, moldy and shit in there. And they had to tear the whole kitchen island down. I was like, well, I'm just going to leave, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
They didn't have any other good options. The other option was to move into a smaller place, which I couldn't do because I've got too much bullshit.
So everybody wants your go ahead and give your address. You want go ahead and put the address in the comments here?
Yeah, you're never getting my address. You can send it to the studio.
Well, I think we should have a welcome party.
A welcome party at my place. Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
No one is coming to my place ever.
I am.
No.
Yeah. Coming.
No, I don't like people.
Dan, that's not true.
It's clearly true. Like, of all the things I say that are not true, that one is clearly true.
Dan, you love people.
No.
So further downtown Austin.
Yeah, I'm on like I guess this far southwest side of downtown. It's next to the Austin power plant.
Yeah.
It's nice down there. It's not that bad. It's not a lot of bullshit down there.
Is there a lot of bars nearby?
Yeah. Yeah, WTF, which we go to frequently, is about a 6-minute walk from there.
Oh, I know exactly where you're at then.
Yeah, it's not hard to find.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Just don't show up there unless you want to fucking deal with the thunder.
Yeah. I'm coming.
No, I like it down there. It's nice.
Case of Blue Chews, and I'm on my fucking way.
Well, not a whole case. Again, you need to start reading the label.
Why?
And take the recommended dosage.
Dude, I took 5 2 weeks ago.
I don't think that's what they want you to do.
Took 5 in one day.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and I didn't even have sex.
Well, I mean, what did you do then?
Is that not what you're supposed to do?
You're supposed to not take it and not have sex.
Really?
Correct. That it's made for giving you a boner. What else do you do with your erections?
Same thing I do with them every day. Just fucking look at them. Kidding
Just
me?
admire the quality.
You kidding me?
Yeah. No,
it's like working out.
That
right?
actually makes sense to me.
Like it's like working out. Like you go to the gym. Like so when I only use them when I need a full body pump.
Well, it actually probably would work for that. It does increase the nitric oxide in your blood, which is what those NO2 pills they used to take as a workout supplement. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I do with them.
Basically.
I take them right before I work out with my pre-workout, and then I just get on the treadmill and take off.
Should have moved in with Giorgio. I bet Dan's house is full of nothing but unicorns like that chick in Dodgeball. To be honest, there are some pictures that are going to be hung on the walls in there, but nothing I've ever purchased personally. It's all gifts that I've been given. 2 pictures of my dogs, 2 movie posters that Jesse gave me for Christmas. Well, no, one's not a movie poster necessarily. It's Threat Level Midnight from The Office, right? So it's a fake movie. And then there's a flag, like the flag on the Drinking Bros set from Stars and Stripes Co. that homeboy gave me. So that's pretty much it.
I'm gonna send you something too.
I don't want it. I'm sure, I don't know what it is, but I'm 100% certain I don't want it.
Why are you like that?
Because I don't trust you.
Wow. Sounds like you got fucking problems.
I do have a lot of problems.
Let's see. Kyle, thanks so much for purchasing my book. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, good luck reading it. It's just incoherent nonsense in crayon for fucking 600 pages. Usually, most of the pages, it's only one letter per page. He's like, I wrote a 600-page book. I'm like, yeah, it's 600 fucking letters, man.
So
that's about fucking what, 120 words or some shit?
Well, so I just did the audio book two weeks ago.
Oh, boy. You did it yourself, huh?
Yeah. Let me tell you something. It was like trying to read a book with your English teacher standing over your shoulder. It was miserable.
You know, you mostly talk for a living now, right? You should be getting pretty good at it.
Yeah, but like there's a difference between talking and reading.
That's true. I mean, the guys who are really good at it, that really get into it, are impressive to me. James Altucher, who we had on the show not too long ago on Drinking Bros, super nerdy guy, but he read his own, and what he did was he read it and left in all the mistakes, basically, unless it was a huge mistake, and then rewrote the book to match what he had. Not rewrote the entire thing. He just went in and edited those single parts. I thought that was pretty good. It sounded more like a conversation to me, and that's I think that's the attraction.
Yeah, that was
other than the convenience. Obviously, it's convenient to do audiobooks.
Dude, that was the hard part for me. Was there was just some words that was just if it's over 4 letters or has more than 2 syllables, it's out of my fucking vocabulary.
Yeah.
You know, and I kept trying to tell the director that, and he was not impressed. He actually got to the point where he asked me, who is in charge of teaching your daughters to read?
And what was the answer to that?
Hopefully his teachers. Hopefully their teachers.
Yeah, that's there was an episode of American Dad one time where Stan Smith kidnapped this baby because it was adopted by a gay couple, and he didn't think gay people should raise kids. And then he met this lesbian couple, and he was like, well, who's going to teach your son to play football? And they were like, his football coach, probably.
Right? Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. Who does it for single moms?
I mean, good point, Dan.
Single moms need to just – I posted about this yesterday. They need to calm down.
Why?
Because they're like walking around like a Roman emperor.
Hey.
During a fucking post-war celebration. Like they've done it, man. You're a hero, man. No, you're just doing the bare minimum.
So
that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, raise your kids. That's called your responsibility.
Just do it and shut the
fuck
fuck up.
So it's kind of like one time I said this and I got corrected real quick. I was like, oh, I'm going to babysit my kids today. It's not considered babysitting if they're your kids.
Yeah. If you're not getting paid to do it, then it's not babysitting.
So I've got to tell you this story just before we get started. I think it just shows how fucked up America is.
Yeah.
So I have a friend. She's a CEO of a company. You talk about just really smart. She's a hard worker, fair. I mean, just incredible. So she said that she got one of her workers today told her that her worker feels uncomfortable in the workplace and told her that she demonstrated traits of toxic masculinity. She said, all I told this person was that we have standards of expectations here that you will produce your deliverables by the due date. And if you can't, then this isn't the place for you, and we aren't a solution for everybody. Mm-hmm. And she was told that that the worker's uncomfortable because she demonstrates.
Told by whom? By the worker?
Yeah, the worker told her.
Okay, good. That worker's fired.
The worker told her
like on the
that
spot.
She demonstrates traits of toxic masculinity.
Isn't misgendering people rude as well?
You know what's coming next? And I'm telling you.
This is like the I can't breathe shit. It's like something that made sense one time, and then everybody, it's like you're a fucking child.
But here's what's good for us men. You ready? Here's what's good for the males. Is that we're already fucked no matter which way we turn. They're running out of reasons to blame us, and now they're going to have to start turning on women. So now you're going to have toxic Femininity.
Yeah, somebody wrote a poem about that once. First they came for the socialists, and I wasn't a socialist, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I wasn't a trade unionist, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the Jews, and I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't say anything. And then they came for me, and there was nobody left to say anything. You know what I mean? This is what happens.
That's what happens.
You allow stupid bullshit to continue because you might agree with it or disagree with it. It's not about the individual points. It is about the infrastructure and principles of a society. That is what holds it up. I don't give a fuck what color you paint the walls. The foundation has to be secure.
For sure.
It's a really simple fucking thing that people seem to have forgotten.
Hey, C. Brad, thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. We'll go ahead and toke it up. Is that what you say when you smoke a blunt?
That's what a cop would say if he's trying to convince some kids to light up a joint so he could arrest them.
What would you say?
Not that.
What would you say? Like, what do you do?
I don't say anything. I just smoke.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I don't have to announce everything I do.
Toke it up.
Hey, I'm toking up, guys.
You don't say toke it up?
Do you like fucking wave your arms in the air and say I'm going to piss when you go take a piss? Or hey, I'm going to eat. I'm taking a bite.
You don't?
No, because I don't give a fuck if people are paying attention to me or not.
Oh.
Speaking of paying attention, Prop A here in Austin, what are your thoughts on that? Are you familiar with this shit? It's about the arbitration thing for firefighters. I haven't really been following it, but I keep seeing ads for it all over the place.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's probably because no one cares. It's like some kind of standardized.
I've been seeing all this shit about this Prop B.
What's Prop B?
About this homelessness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll see about that. Like,
Prop A.
Where they're not allowed to camp on the street with impunity anymore.
All I've seen there, I can't see it here. I don't see anything about Prop A.
Yeah, I mean, who cares?
I mean, if it's about firefighters.
Yeah, but it's more about the arbitration process than anything else. At any rate, I don't really care about that. What we're talking about today is Washington, D.C. being a state. Now, we've already seen some shakeups in Congress this week already. California and New York both lost congressional seats. Texas picked up one. Actually, I think, Texas picked up 2. Florida picked up 1. Ohio and somebody else lost 1, I believe. Pennsylvania. North Carolina picked up 1. I think. I don't remember. But anyways, this is clearly, like, this DC for statehood thing has been going on, and the left has been anti this for years, right? This has been going on since the 70s. People have been pining for this stuff. And let's just go over why it's a bad idea, but let's say it does happen, and then we'll fucking get into that and what that might look like. So just a brief history of D.C. In the late 18th century, the capital's still in Philadelphia, but Congress decided that Congress needed to control the nation's capital, so it should be separate from any state, right? Meaning they didn't want a single state government that also had senators and Congress people to be able to join forces with Congress or fuck Congress over. Well, yeah, it's a conflict of interest. And it's the foundation of this particular system of government, which is checks and balances, right? You have a Congress and a Senate and a presidency. You have an executive branch, a judicial branch. You know, all these different things are happening at the same time for a reason, supposedly. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the U.S. Constitution says the Congress shall have power to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 miles square as may by session of particular states, the acceptance of Congress become the seat of government of the United States. So the Washington, D.C. is not only exists, but is under control of Congress alone and not the state, not any particular state, by order of the Constitution. That's how that works. So it's not like if Northern California wanted to separate from the rest and into the state called Jefferson, that could happen with, like, that's a statehood issue, but this is actual a constitutional issue. That's the difference. I just wanted to point that out early. In 1801, Congress incorporated the federal district under its sole authority, which caused residents to lose voting representation in Congress and the Electoral College. Now, there's a really easy solution to this. Don't live in D.C. I mean, if that is the case, shrink down Washington, D.C. into just the Capitol and the White House.
Yeah.
Why would it be anything more than that? Right? That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Maybe enough room outside of that to have standoff to defend those two things, but why have more than that? I mean, that's the solution. It's not to make this is all kinds of weird legal bullshit that has to happen here to make it. Anyways, in 1961, the 23rd Amendment was passed, which granted the district votes in the Electoral College in proportion to their population, which is how it works everywhere else. Still didn't get Congress or Senate, though. Fair enough. Dc Statehood was first proposed in 1980 by J. Edward Gwinnen. I don't know who the fuck that is, nor do I care. More than a dozen statehood bills have been introduced since 1987 in Congress, right? So they've been trying to do this for a long time, 34 years.
Yeah.
They've been trying to do this shit. I mean, it's a horrible idea, obviously.
I just don't know why it's I just don't know why it's needed.
Well, why it's needed, it's not needed, but why they're pushing it now is because they want 2 more senators that are Democrats. That's it. That's the only reason they give a fuck about any of this stuff right now. Because they've ignored it for fucking 34 years. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got to take care of these people. The left and the right always show up to take care of somebody when it's in their best interest to do so. Right?
Yeah.
So the left needs the black vote. They're going to go out and fucking give free shit to people.
Yeah.
Start talking about reparations and shit like that. That's it. They weren't talking about reparations 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Now that Trump won more of the black vote than he should have, now they're talking about reparations again. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. You can't be more transparent.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how this, when I look at the issues of, again, when I look at the issues of the United States of America, I don't know how this is at the top of the list.
No, I mean, it's certainly not at the top of the list. It's really fucking stupid, actually. Now, we'll get into more of why it's dumb here in a minute, but let's go through the legal requirements first. So in Article 4, Section 3 of the Constitution, it states, new states may be admitted by Congress into this union, but no new state shall be formed or erected within the jurisdiction of any other state, nor any state be formed by the conjunction or by the junction of 2 or more states or parts of states without the consent of the legislatures of the states concerned as well as the Congress. So, for example, if Congress could vote for the state of Jefferson, right, which is, I think, Northern California and part of Southern Oregon, but both of the legislatures in Oregon and California would also have to agree to it, so it's never going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
Let's be real about that.
But here's where, you know, why this should be pretty easy for them to get done, because I mean, look, Virginia is going to allow this to happen. They're Democrats. So it'd be easier for them to pass.
I don't know what the makeup of the state legislature in Virginia is.
Let's check it out. I bet I can probably guess.
Bob, you want to look at that up? But anyways, other legal requirements. So using Hawaii as an example for admitting and creating, this is the newest state, so we'll use that. The steps are, 1, the Senate must vote in favor of an admission act. Now, that's going to be 60 votes, which you're not going to get either, right? There's no way they're making D.C. a state, because unless they exercise the nuclear option and do away with cloture voting and shit like that. We talk about that all the time, but the Republicans are not going to fucking get on board with this.
Nope.
There's no way. Usually sets requirements for the path of statehood, such as the creation of a state constitution and all kinds of other bullshit, right? So the House of Representatives must approve the formation or admission of the new state. The state or states within those borders of the new state must vote in favor of ceding the land, right, which is what I said before. In this case, it would be Maryland and or Virginia doing something if they were to absorb those 2 areas, or if it was Northern California and Oregon would have to do that. The president then must approve and sign the Admissions Act. Look, this guy's just signing whatever's put in front of him, because he has no idea where the fuck he is. So that's not even really an issue.
What'd you find out about?
Yeah.
55-45 Democrats in the House.
No, but
In the legislature.
What about the Senate? Virginia State Senate, yeah. Because they have to pass in both houses, and the governor would have to sign it, because that's how a bill gets passed at the state level. I would imagine that the composition is something similar, though. Anyways, That's dead even in the Senate, so there's no way they're passing that. But Virginia doesn't have to. D.C. doesn't belong to them. D.C. would be a new state. So only Congress and Senate would have to approve it, and then the president would have to sign it for that one. Because they're not taking land from anybody, unless they were taking land from other states, I don't know if that's the case or not. It's hard to say. Now, there's a lot of here's some of the arguments in favor of statehood. D.C. has a larger population than Wyoming or Vermont, but residents currently do not have the same rights to determine how they are governed. They don't. There's no. They don't have a vote in Congress, right? Any votes in Congress. I think, what does Wyoming have, like 3 electoral votes or 5 or some shit like that? I don't remember. It's a small amount, but it's more than they have. They also don't have senators, right? Which I always thought was kind of weird that states that were that small would have the same Senate representation.
Yeah.
It was set up that way on purpose. Residents of D.C. pay federal taxes but don't have voting representation in Congress. If you remember, or if you've ever been to D.C., you will see on everybody's license plate, it says taxation without representation on every single driver's license plate there. In 2007, D.C. had the highest federal taxes per capita as well.
Well, you can fucking move.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason
It's 10
to fucking
square
live
miles.
there. Yeah.
It's 10 square fucking miles.
Most of the people I know that live in that area don't fucking live there. They live in Northern Virginia or Maryland or something. Denying D.C. residents congressional voting rights violates the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, which was ratified in 1992. That is an absolute fact. But again, it brings into question, where has the left been for the last 34 years?
Yeah.
Right?
Why all of a sudden now?
Yeah. Because D.C. is technically run by Congress, when the federal government shuts down due to disagreements on the spending bill, for example, basic local functions like education, trash collection, and permitting cannot be carried out.
It's interesting.
Right? So, I mean, again, this is an argument. The purpose of this originally was for the nation's capital to be controlled by Congress. People moved there. Nobody told them to, right?
Yeah.
They moved there. That was a mistake on their part. Now it's time for them to move the fuck out. There's no point in making D.C. is not going to become a state. But if you're looking at all this and you're a D.C. resident, you have to be thinking to yourself, all right, it's time to move, right? I mean, what the fuck are you doing here? The mayor of D.C. Would become governor of the newly formed state, giving them legal authority to deploy the National Guard where deemed necessary, right? Now, that would be the incumbent, but once a new election came up, obviously that would be an election for governor and not mayor anymore. Are we really going to have a state that's 10 square miles, though? That doesn't make any sense. Who cares how many fucking people live there?
How big's Rhode Island?
Well, it's not a road or an island. Know that. But area-wise, none of these states are even close to 10 square miles. I mean, they're fucking... Wyoming is a pretty big state. It just doesn't have a lot of people.
1,200 square miles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're talking...
It's a fucking joke.
It's a fucking joke. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see... Again, I go back to, of all the things that's going on in the world right now, this is our priority. This is what we're spending our...
Well, their priorities are to push a leftist agenda, and
of course
they know they can't do it with the current composition of the Senate.
But you really get this desperate to where
they're not desperate. They're fucking maniacal. They want to fucking take your guns away. They want to fucking raise your taxes. They want to instill Marxist bullshit, right? There's no room left for questioning that at all.
No, I agree, but it's not going to happen.
No, certainly not. I mean, they don't have the votes right now, but that's what they're trying to do. They're also trying to set up a Senate composition where, like right now, even if they invoke the nuclear option, if one person on their side disagreed with what they were doing, they'd be done.
Yeah.
Right. If they add a state and there's 2 more senators, then they have a margin of error of 3 plus the vice president to fucking break the tie. Right. That's a much better odds if they're trying to pack the court. If they're trying to pass gun control and blah, blah, blah. That's what they're trying. Right now, they're building their little army to be able to do what they want to do later. That's all this is. They're trying to set the conditions where the other side won't have the weapons to fight back anymore. Now, that's a huge mistake on their part because they're doing all this thinking that weapons are isolated to political weapons.
Yeah.
But we've got real weapons. You know what I mean? It's an entirely different story. It's just stupid. You know what I mean?
It's
just not going to happen. So they're wasting their time. But
so you don't think it'll happen?
This isn't any different than the Republicans voting 46 times to defund Obamacare and shit like that, though. They didn't have the votes to do it then. They just wasted America's time. If you want to fucking lead, win elections. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Now, there are some really good arguments against Dc Statehood as well. Granting D.C. statehood would inadvertently give the sitting president 3 electoral votes. Seems problematic, right? That's the reason they didn't do it in the fucking first place.
Yeah.
The Capitol would be shrunk to an enclave consisting of the White House, Capitol Building, and Supreme Court. The 23rd Amendment gives the U.S. Capitol 3 electoral votes.
So, I mean, let me ask you this.
So the only residents of the federal enclave would be the president and his family.
So let me ask you this. So why don't they just do this anyways and give it to Virginia? Like, it's going to happen no matter what.
I think D.C. should be the Capitol and the White House, and all that other land should belong to Virginia or Maryland.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what's going to happen if it goes.
And D.C. should have no electoral college votes.
But that's what I'm saying is,
absolutely
like,
not.
if it does get voted as a state, it's going to shrink to the same thing you're saying anyways.
Yeah, for sure it will eventually. Yeah.
So
that'll be the next thing, and then whomever the sitting president is from then on would just have 3 electoral votes. I mean, that is fucking crazy.
That's fucking nuts.
When you, even if you didn't plan it that way, when you see that that's the result, you gotta be like, oh yeah, we can't do that, unless you're a fucking asshole, right?
Yeah.
If you're an asshole bent on trying to exert your power over other people, then you're absolutely gonna try to do that, and that's what we see now. We see nothing but cunts as far as the eye can see. Remember that fucking meme of Buzz Lightyear, and where he's looking over his hand like this, and it just says something everywhere, and everybody would replace the word. Cunts everywhere.
Cunts.
Look in D.C. in any direction, you're going to see a cunt. What you're not going to see in D.C. are a lot of ghost beds, unfortunately. I feel like we would have much better presidents
if they were sleeping in ghost beds.
Yeah, if they were sleeping in ghost beds. I mean, Joe wouldn't be nearly as sleepy as he is right now.
No,
and he's real tired.
He's
you can
tired.
tell, yeah. I don't think it's from the job necessarily. It's probably from the fucking medication. Because he's 78 years old.
Do you
what other job will we have where we're like, you know what we need is a fucking 78-year-old man?
I bet Hunter gets in there.
Hunter would be a great president. He'd just be selling all the furniture in the White House for crack and shit, smoking cheese out on the back, at the Rose Garden. He's just fucking lighting up a bong full of cheese, and everybody's like, hey man, it's Hunter. What you gotta do? Economy's good.
Economy's good.
I mean, if he had the economy going pretty well, and he was smoking crack.
Well, you know he's a professor now.
Oh, of what?
He's teaching.
Is he teaching people
Keep
how
going
to?
on with the ghost beds. I'll tell you where he's teaching.
Is he teaching people how to dig fucking shredded Parmesan out of the carpet and smoke it? Yeah, ghost bed, as you know, 30% off at ghostbed.com/drinkerbros on everything forever. Even if you don't use our code, if you're a firefighter or veteran or active military person or a police officer or a nurse or a government employee or whatever else, anybody that fucking takes care of us day to day gets taken care of with 30% off on GhostBed. They're still running that bundle deal where if you get the adjustable base, it's 40% off.
Dude, and the Lux is where it's at.
Yeah,
the cooling technology.
The cooling technology is really good. The pillows are great. I was talking to Ross about it yesterday. He's been staying in a hotel here a lot lately for like the last 14 or 15 days. The worst thing about traveling is shitty pillows and shitty sheets. It's the worst. And the shitty bed too. But to be honest, even the bed I can kind of deal with if the pillows are okay, because I've slept on the ground enough in my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With my head propped up on a fucking Kevlar helmet. But having shitty pillows in a hotel is one of the worst. I never sleep well.
I can sleep anywhere.
I can't. I cannot sleep with shitty pillows. So if you're out there looking for those, or sheets or anything like mattress protectors, whatever it is, Ghost Bed's the place to go. If you're looking for that big purchase, you can use the 36-month pay-as-you-go. I think it knocks if you get the King Luxe with the adjustable base and all the sheets and pillows and shit, I think it's like $35 or $39 a month with
and you get two free
interest.
pillows.
Yeah, and you get 2 additional free pillows too. Yeah, so ghostbed.com/drinkingbros is the best. And we're also drinking the Carter Max Immunity Boosters today. Well, you're back on the energy drink, but I'm on the Jocko energy drink, but I'm on the Carter Max. I already had, so I start off the morning with an energy intensifier.
Yeah.
Then I slide into this. I drink this shit all day because there's no sugar at all.
Yep.
And I don't like regular water. I feel like
I hate regular water.
If I'm drinking regular water, I feel poor.
Yeah, I like Carter Max. I like the Immune Fix.
Yeah, so the immunity one and the Immune Fix, the new one, is really fucking
really
good.
badass.
The flavors are really good too, and it's easy.
Hey, here you
I
go.
like being able to travel
Yeah.
with these little packages.
That is always the problem with my energy drinks.
Yeah, you can't fucking travel with cans anywhere. Well, Carter Max has got the energy drink as well, but I mean, it's being able to travel with that stuff.
It's big.
It's a game changer. Anyways, back to DC.
So hold on. Hunter Biden
Okay.
is to lecture on fake news at New Orleans University.
Now, there was an article about Hunter Biden and his laptop, which has been completely erased from history, by the way.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about that shit. His laptop was probably pawned by him for drugs, let's be real.
Yeah.
And the guy turned it over to the press, and the press found all these documents linking him to the fucking the wife of the mayor of fucking the biggest city in Russia, and all kinds of other Chinese bullshit. Videos of him getting his dick sucked while he's smoking crack by a prostitute. You know what I mean? The New York Post writes a story about it, and Twitter bans the post.
How crazy
So
is
this
that?
motherfucker's going to come out and talk about fake news. Are you kidding me? Like, he is the biggest recipient of fake news help in the history of anybody in humankind ever. The
Yeah.
biggest recipient,
Do you
at least
think
here in America.
Well, hold on. Now let me say this. The headline only stated that he's going to talk about fake news. He might be talking about the benefits of fake news.
Yeah, he could be. I doubt it. Seriously doubt it.
Fake news, the benefits of being a Democrat.
Yeah. Speaking of fake news, we're going to talk about that Biden tax plan on this show next week. Anyways, yeah, that's really dumb.
Is that nuts?
It's not surprising. I mean, these people live in like this weird echo chamber. It's like Hollywood. They think that people give a shit what they have to say. Well, last year's Oscars, 23 million viewers. This year, 9.85 million. And from 18 to 49-year-old people, it was 1.4 million.
That's crazy.
That means most of the people that watched it had fallen asleep with the television on. Right? Or they had fallen and not been able to get up. Life alert. Send us a check.
Send us a check, Life Alert.
Yeah, it's... I don't know how many of those were carryover viewers from whatever. It would be interesting to see what the viewers on E were too, because they do that whole day of red carpet bullshit before that. I'm sure their ratings suck too. Nobody cares about these people or what they have to say. And here's the problem. Politicians have been so full of shit for so long that people have started to tune them out, but behind the scenes, politicians are doing all kinds of fucked up shit.
Yeah.
So when somebody says, I'm not really into politics, I'm like, you better fucking be in politics, buddy.
You better figure it out.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really into looking at what's going on in the house. You know what I mean? I just kind of fucking, I don't care. What do I care?
Yeah,
well, it's on fire, asshole. So you may want to fucking go over there
I
and
just
put the
kind
fire
of, as
out.
long as I can walk in and get to my bedroom and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Good.
People want Hot Pockets and iPads, man. That's it. But those days are gone. Those easy days that bred all those easy men or weak men, they're gone, man.
Yep.
That shit's over now. You got to fucking step up and start getting involved in shit.
The good thing is we've only got one more generation of probably easiness. And then the next generation will be hard.
Yeah, we're due for a little apocalypse.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna get good, man.
It'd be nice. I mean, goddamn. The thing that I like most about it is all the American muscle cars in Mad Max.
Yeah.
I just miss that. I mean, all these people that drive Priuses, you're going to murder somebody for a battery? That's not going to work.
Yeah.
How are you going to charge your batteries?
Yeah.
No, I will murder you for your gasoline, right? Or I'll make my own. I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Probably won't be able to do that, but
Yeah,
we'll look into it.
I don't know how you're going to do that, but I'm in.
Yeah. Somebody figure out how to make gasoline and let me know. Anyways, yeah, so back to D.C. The arguments against statehood, yeah. It's the first and biggest one is that the Constitution says that's not how it's supposed to be. The Capitol and the White House are supposed to be outside of the control of any state government. That was the whole point of setting it up that way, which is reasonable. And the implied thing, like if there's two foundations in the Constitution, or 2 points in the Constitution, you make them logically agree with one another. And here's what I mean by that. If it says in the Constitution that D.C. must exist, 1, and 2, that it must exist outside of the power of a state, right? But also the Constitution says that every person is guaranteed the right to vote, and enunciates the Electoral College and how that operates, then you have to make these two match. And the only way to do that is for people who vote to not live there, right? For the city of D.C., as it were, to not even be meet the requirements for an Electoral College vote. That's how it has to be that way.
But listen, I'm just going to try to play devil's advocate here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody goes back, and you're going to explain this the best of anybody, and that's why I'm bringing this point up. So don't lose your shit.
I might.
On me. I just want to bring this argument up of, everybody says but this is all they can say. Well, it says it in the Constitution. Well, the Constitution's been changed as late as May 5th, 1992.
Yeah, well, that was a pay raise for Congress, by the way.
But my point is like, for the people who are arguing, well, it's getting changed, it's amended.
It got changed within the first 10 years that it existed.
So
10 times.
10 times. So at what point do we say it's the Constitution, and at what point do we say it can be changed?
Well,
do you see my point?
There's no argument to be made that it can't be changed because it's already been changed a bunch.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
and in ways that didn't make any sense. Like banning alcohol was a constitutional amendment. Really? That was it, huh? That was the fucking one back then. That was the major, not the flu that was murdering people all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not poverty, not bread lines, booze.
Yep.
Get fucked, loser. But that's how a lot of those gangsters became politicians back in the day, right? They cornered the market on one side and then they made shit illegal on the other side. That was a pretty common thing. I mean, Boardwalk Empire wasn't exactly a documentary, but the character Nucky Thompson that it's based on is a real dude. And he did exactly what they said. He was a fucking huge women's suffrage guy, the chastity and purity of women in public, anti-alcohol in public and shit like that. That was real. All that shit was real. So anyways, these people are all full of shit.
So, but you get my point.
But the Constitution is only good if it works for us, right?
So, and here's the reality is obviously some people are saying this ain't working.
It's certainly not.
So,
right? I mean, but again, it's not a constitutional issue. The Constitution is clear that D.C. is not meant to be a state, right? But it's also clear that people, citizens of this country, should be voting and be represented.
So it's
don't live there. It's a fucking easy fucking solution. That is exactly what they should be doing.
I mean, or they could live there and they could just, if they really wanted to make a solution, shrink it down, like you said, to just being the White House and the Capitol.
Yeah.
And then fucking rolling on with it.
Then everybody else is Virginia or whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
It's the easiest solution. So, again, the other major argument about this is that granting statehood to D.C. would certainly inadvertently give the sitting president 3 electoral votes, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's wild. You can't do that. I mean, there's some home field advantage
for sure, because
you can use Air Force One and all that bullshit, and you can make campaign stops while you're doing your actual job because you have to. You know what I mean? So there's certainly a home field advantage for the incumbent, but it can't be votes. You can't get free votes. Certainly not ones that you personally control. Another one is, although it's the smallest state geographically, it has a larger population than states such as Vermont and Wyoming. This could possibly give it more congressional representatives and electors who would tend to favor Democratic candidates in the future. Now, this is this isn't about being positive or negative. This is about intent, right? I don't give a fuck if people vote Republican or Democrat or anything like that. I think both of those parties are full of cunts. But the Democratic Party is pushing this now for the first time after 34 years.
It's crazy.
Right? in a big way because they want to flip stuff.
Yeah.
They want to fucking control the outcome of elections.
Well, I mean,
this
they're
has
trying to
nothing
set
to do with the
themselves up for
representation of
success.
people. Yeah, this has nothing to do with representing the people and everything to do with gaining more power. And anytime you see one side of the political spectrum that's trying to silence everybody, trying to gain more political power, luckily, it was a good thing for this country that Obama got elected because Dick Cheney and his brood of fucking assholes that, by the way, they presided over the largest expansion of the federal government in history and passed the Patriot Act and started 2 completely stupid fucking unnecessary wars that lasted 20 years. All that power got fucking interrupted by Obama. As bad as he was, as big of a pussy as he was, right? It fucking stopped that shit. And that's why this government is set up the way it is, to have a peaceful change of power every 4 to 8 years.
Yeah.
It's set up for just that reason. So as bad as he is, as bad as cold water sucks in the shower, you know what I mean? If you fucking burn your hand, you're probably going to put some cold water on it. That's how that fucking works. It's meant to be a balance between these two sides. Right? And I don't mean Republican and Democrat. It's meant to be a balance between liberalism, classical liberalism, and conservatism, right? Like, hey, we need all this stuff. Like, well, we only have this. What can we do? And to meet in the middle and get everybody taken care of. That's the way it's supposed to exist.
Our system, it's not our system that's broke. It's the fucking people that our system's made of that are fucking broke.
Right. Yeah, for sure, yeah. The last, real negative about this is that DC would immediately become a welfare state. It doesn't produce any revenue whatsoever, right? All those companies on K Street, the lobbying firms that make most of the money in DC, will immediately leave DC because they're not going to pay those fucking state taxes. DC state taxes would be on par with California and New York. They would be 55 to 60% total taxes for people that make $400K or over, and that's the only people that live in DC. So that tax base would fucking flee to Northern Virginia and Maryland immediately.
Yeah.
They would fucking leave, and it would be just poor people there. And now we've created a fucking welfare state as the capital of our country. Now, how stupid is that?
More shit for us to take care of.
Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense. DC does not currently have any substantial forms of revenue, and they rely primarily on the federal government for funding of everything: prisons, courts, education, everything.
So why don't?
Right?
Yeah, that's another topic, but keep going.
It just doesn't make any sense, man. I mean,
yeah, I mean, look, it makes more sense again if they really cared. If this was really about the people, if this was really about the people, they would again collapse it down to what it's going to go to, anyways. The Capitol and the Capitol and the White House. And then the other people would be part of Virginia. If they really gave a fuck about the people having rights,
right?
But do you think Virginia would want that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it adds nothing. It adds no value to them.
It adds no value. Well, it adds votes, which is power.
It adds votes,
and power is money.
Would Virginia get more? Let me ask you this: so if they
Giorgio, if you say power is power, I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you in the leg. Cunt.
If they collapse it down. Do they add 3 more?
Well, I mean, it has 3 electoral votes now, so you'd have to strip it of its electoral votes if you collapse it down.
Give it to Virginia.
Right, until the next census, until 2029.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's not a good solution either, because you got 10 years of free fucking 3 votes with only, again, the president controlling that shit.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck every bit of that. So what are some potential alternative solutions? One is called retrocession, which you've referred to a couple times, which is where jurisdiction over D.C. minus the Capitol, White House would be given back to Maryland or given to Virginia. Now, that would exclude the federal enclave surrounding the White House, Capitol Building, and Supreme Court. It would not remove the electoral votes currently granted to the Capitol by the 23rd Amendment, right? So if they ceded control over the population itself, then those votes go wherever state receives the fucking personnel, right?
Yeah.
That seems, I mean, if you wanted to do that, I guess. But
it's not that big.
Again, this is only an attempt to get more votes, right? More electoral college votes and more votes in the
It's the same thing with the border.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the reason that we'll get to that too. We're going to talk about it on fake news, but that's what we're going to close with, because I don't know if you're familiar with this whole thing going on with Kamala Harris's new book, Down at the Border, but we'll get into that in just a sec. Another alternative solution is granting voting representation to D.C. in one or both houses of Congress without granting the district full statehood. That just seems that's something that's also been proposed by the left over the years. I think it was actually one of or 2 or 3 of the 14 times they tried to get it passed. It was something like that. But what would be the point of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still you still don't have votes in the Senate, which is the real power, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Senate is what's holding. If it weren't for the Senate, the left would be doing whatever it wants right now.
For sure.
So that's where the real power in America sits right now with those 100 assholes. I have a third alternative solution. Let D.C. become a state, except for the federal enclave. They keep their 3 votes, and then you create Jefferson as a state, right?
Yep.
Which would be Northern California and Southern Oregon. If you're truly about representing people, right? If that's your fucking premise, is that we're doing this because we want people to be represented, then taking countries or states with huge population centers like L.A., San Francisco, the Bay Area in general, Silicon Valley, L.A., San Diego, who are primarily liberal, right? And disenfranchising all of Northern California, which doesn't look the same, doesn't act the same, doesn't feel the same, none of that stuff. Same thing with Southern Oregon, right? They are mostly conservatives there. And now you have 2 new conservative senators, 3 new conservative congresspeople, and then 3 new Democratic congresspeople or liberals and 2 new liberal senators. Everything is even. A bunch of people now are represented in a way that they've never been represented before.
If it's going to be even, they're not going to want to do it because
of course
that's not what they want.
But so that's the point, though. If it was about getting people the representation they deserve per the Constitution, that would be an acceptable solution. But it's not, right? Because that's not what they want. They want power.
Yep.
They want more of it because all politicians are cunts.
Hey, Dan. Power's power.
I'll fucking stab everybody.
Right, Giorgio? Power.
So
Say
now this is hilarious. The Washington Post actually ran a story that said that fact-checked whether or not Kamala Harris's book is being given to people at the border. It is, first of all. We've seen the images of it being passed out. And when asked about it, Jen Psaki said, she said that, I think she actually may have said she would have to circle back. But she said, I heard it's a really good book, right? Just something snarky about it. If federal money is being used to purchase the book of a sitting vice president, and then giving it to fucking illegal immigrants who the federal government has just made it illegal to call them illegal, and also to the fucking head of Homeland Security saying they're not going to prosecute illegal or unlawful presence, even if people have been previously deported anymore, then this is an invasion at this point, right? This is an invasion that's being facilitated by the federal government. And I don't know if that's tantamount to sedition or treason, but it's getting pretty goddamn close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, could you imagine if Donald Trump had purchased anything of his own?
Yeah. If he started bringing over, I'm not making any statements here, but the fucking left wanted to tie him to Russia so badly. If he started fucking bringing people over from Moscow to Ellis Island over there and he handed out The Art of the Deal to everybody, you know what I mean? Which would be hilarious, to be honest, because that book is I mean, it's Donald Trump writing a book. He didn't write that book. Let's be real. He fucking stood across the room to somebody and yelled at him, and they were like typing it furiously. That's what really happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is. I love how the Washington Post comes to everybody's defense. The New York Post wrote that story about Hunter Biden, and it was 100% factual. Not only that, but they had a fucking video that was evidence of exactly what they were saying, right? They had bank account transcripts showing Hunter Biden taking money from the wife of the former mayor of Moscow and distributing it to people. And that was banned from Twitter. But the Washington Post, whose byline right here underneath their logo says "Democracy dies in darkness," by the way, which is probably the most ironic fucking statement ever made by somebody in print media.
Exactly.
Has the audacity to fucking write paragraph after paragraph, like, oh, look, here's why it's technically not true what's happening. Like, oh, really? You went with the technical route, huh? You fucking cunts. These people are pieces of shit.
It's kind of like saying with all due respect.
Yeah, I mean, it is. But it turns out that I don't think they were, I don't think that the books in question, I think they were part of a larger subset of books, like thousands of books that got sent by somebody, a third party. I don't think the federal government was involved in this. But it does illustrate the idea, and the Post, by the way, has deleted that story, and I think the person that wrote it resigned, right?
Yeah.
So, good lesson there. Don't fucking believe don't believe the memes that the Daily Wire puts out, because sometimes they're true and fun. They're always funny, to be honest. Their meme guy is fucking great. Whoever the guy, man or woman is doing their memes, or collective body they're doing them, they're fucking hilarious. But they're not always true. And, this border situation is becoming more problematic than I ever thought it would be.
I mean,
I just don't understand. I mean,
so
what's the motivation? The people can't vote. So is that going to be next? Is there going to be some fucking like we're doing all these things to let felons vote again, and I think they should be able to.
Yeah.
Like, if you're out of prison, you should either be in prison or out of prison and be able to vote.
For sure.
Right? Like, why would you not be able to vote because you committed a crime? If the crime was so bad that you should never be able to vote again,
you shouldn't be out of
lock
prison.
them up. Like, if you can't be trusted to vote, you can't be trusted to be in public.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
So what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh shit.
Anyways, this whole thing with the way the border's going, is that going to be the next step? Are they going to try to start? I mean, California did the ID thing under Schwarzenegger, right? What was that, 2006 or 8 or some shit? Bob, do you remember that? When Schwarzenegger passed that bill to allow illegal immigrants to get California state IDs? I don't remember what year it was, but he did that. If that's the next step, like federal identification and voting rights for people that aren't even citizens of this country, then the vote means nothing at that point,
Nothing.
Right? And, a lot of people would say that the vote means nothing
now. That's what everybody says.
And I pretty much agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, the way the media's been, there's going to be a story on fake news about this tomorrow, about how the state of California is complicit behind the scenes with the media and social media companies in controlling what political ads California residents saw.
That's crazy.
It's wild, but it's not unbelievable, and it's certainly not unexpected.
What did you see where they thought Russia was about to smoke Ukraine?
Mm.
And it was all just blow up military vehicles.
Wait, what? I know I didn't see this. What are you talking about?
Let me see if I can find it.
I mean, Russia's trying to flex. Russia's like a quote unquote social media influencer that only has like 5,000 followers, that is constantly running around talking shit to people that have 100,000 followers. There was one that was trying to talk shit to Jared not too long ago. I don't remember the name of the account. It was some stupid bullshit. But the guy's like he's trying to brand himself as the biggest anti-mask person in the history of the United States. Like, this is a violation of our constitutional rights. Like, come on, man. I mean, the mask thing is annoying, and it's certainly the left trying to flex power on people. There's no question about that. But it's not unconstitutional, and two, like, fucking who cares, man? Like, you think that's going to be the big bellwether, the mask. No, how about the fucking erosion of rights to keep my fucking business open? I don't give a fuck about a mask. That shit's dumb. By the way, Biden did say you can walk around outside without a mask now if you've been fully vaccinated. Outside only. God, what a fucking moron that guy is. Anyways, you find it yet?
Yeah, so 6 days ago. So Russia had put out there, how they were talking about everybody's going, there's nearly 100,000 troops going next to, so he sent some troops over there, but he had put up, they called it Putin's blow-up army. He put World War II style fake tanks, and they used the full NATO as he orders his troops back to base and apparent end to build up near Ukraine.
That's really funny. I mean, didn't the French?
Yeah,
the UK did that during World War I.
II. Yeah, so it's World War II style.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah, so like all these military vehicles, like these planes and all this shit, was just a bunch of blow up shit.
That's pretty funny. I mean, this is why everybody is always like, oh, you should run for office or this or that. One, I don't want to be a cunt, and all politicians are cunts. But two, the temptation to do weird shit to
like
people
that
would be too great. I would be trolling the fuck out of everybody all the time. Not like Trump on Twitter being a cocksucker to people. I'm talking about I would be actually trolling people. Like I would send a bunch of fucking paper plates to Maryland. Like, hey, you guys ordered these paper plates, right? Just activate FEMA to go take paper plates. Like, you guys needed these plates, right? And they're like, no, dude. Nobody asked for this shit. Well, you got them. Fuck you. Or one of Jared's old ideas, which I really loved. We actually contemplated doing this to Ross because his house is under construction right now, but he already knows about it, so he would know it's us. But we want to drop like one of those extremely large garbage things that you use for construction sites or whatever, right?
Dumpster.
Yeah, but it's like the big one. It's not a normal dumpster. It's like
huge one.
40 feet long or whatever. And then put a number on the side of it and just put it right in front of their driveway, right, so they can't get out. And every time they call the number like, hey, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like, yeah, you ordered that. It's going to be there for 6 months, bro. And then it's like, no, I didn't order this. Like, well, I'm reading the fucking order right here, Ross Patterson, right? It says it right here. And read out his address and his fucking phone number. Like, this has been ordered for you, and it's going to be there for 6 months. We can't come pick it up. I mean, we're not allowed to pick it up. My boss will fire me. I can't do that. And then just have him keep calling back over and over, like, you got to get this. You know, Ross, he would raise the fuck out, too. He would lose it immediately. If he didn't already know about the plan, he would lose it immediately, and he would probably just move. Like, he would probably move to a new house. And do you know, if I had the power to make somebody to interfere with somebody's life
and make them move to a new house,
I wouldn't be able to stop myself. That's the one thing. I can handle drugs and alcohol and whatever else, women. I can handle all those temptations. I can't handle the temptation to fuck with people. It's the real weakness in my character. So it is what it is. I want to hear you guys. We'll post some clips from this. And on Instagram, go comment on how you feel about the DC Statehood stuff and all that stuff. But also, you know, here on YouTube, comment in the comment section, not in the chat, about weird ways that we can fuck with Ross.
Yeah.
Because he's been on one lately, and I feel like he needs to get tuned up a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
And we've done it before. I mean, Jared's really good at pushing his buttons. So
yeah, Jared's really good at doing that for anybody.
For anybody, yeah. He's just got nothing but time, man. Nothing but time. He and Marcus are going to Mexico soon for some bullshit. Are you tracking on that? I don't know what it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. What else? What else you got going? So, by the way, I just wanted to announce this. I don't know when we're going to do it. Probably starting next week. We're going to start going twice a week for
twice a week.
Party.
Yeah, man.
One of the shows we're going to do next week is about what the fuck did I say it was about? I don't remember now. I already had Cooper write it, but I can't remember. There's two of them that are next week. Oh, the one's the Biden tax plan.
Yeah.
And then if you guys comment over the weekends what you want the other show to focus on, we'll do that one too, because this is kind of a new experiment.
Yeah, go do it on the Instagram.
Yeah.
On the gram. Let us know what you want. We'll make it up.
The email porn site thing doesn't work anymore, Scuba Jeep. It used to be a big thing in the military to do that. Right. Also to sign people up for AARP and shit like that is weird stuff. But it doesn't work anymore because Google's spam filters are pretty good now. So it doesn't, like, it'll detect that shit.
Dude, what if we found an escort and sent her to his house?
With a kid that looked kind of like him. Like, we go central casting style.
Yeah.
And we just find a kid that looks exactly like Ross, but we give it, like, I don't know how obvious you would want to make it. Like, we give it the same exact haircut and shit, too.
Yeah.
And then it has the Asian writing tattoo on its ass
she has to go up and be like, I've been watching you, and I just wanted to make sure that I raised him to be like you as much as I could without him knowing you.
Just get a fucking, like, 6-year-old, though, and make it exactly like Ross.
Yeah.
Like the same haircut, and it's wearing a New Guy t-shirt.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually a really good one. We should do that.
That's a good idea.
I hate Instagram. What about Patreon? Elon G. You can just do it here on YouTube if you don't want to do it there.
Yeah.
But we don't. Only Giorgio looks at the Patreon chats, and I don't know what he does with them, but I'm sure it's nothing good. He's probably pounding off to the words you write.
Hey, Giorgio, how's your OnlyFans account?
There was a car bombing, so we lost two subscribers.
Oh, boy, that's dark. Is that real? Oh, okay, good. R.I.P., though.
Yeah, R.I.P. R.I.P. Oh, Dan, got Dan laughing.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I like dark shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big fan of that. All right, cool. Well,
Cool. See you in
tune in tomorrow for fake news. I think it's going to be probably around 4 Eastern because we have another show in the middle of the day we got to do. Oh, yeah. High and Angry. You reading that one?
Yeah. Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, we're doing another live show later, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
And we're doing baseball probably around 5 Eastern, if I had to guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right,
All right, we'll see you in
in
hell.
hell.